What's up, guys? I wanted to answer a big question in real estate. A lot of people ask me, but also something that I had to figure out when I was first starting. It's how to get both of these two things, right? So one, cash flow, which is good. Everybody's a big fan of cash flow. It's very important. Getting a monthly check is awesome. Also, I apologize if it's echoing here. There's literally just us on a whiteboard, but we're gonna get through this. So, and then also big checks, right? Is how can we get consistent cash flow and then at the same time not have that cash flow come in the form of like a few $100s a month, right? Because a few $100s a month is great, but it's not as good as, you know, when you do a deal and you make 30 grand, right? 30 grand, it's pretty hard to build up enough properties where you're making a few $100s a piece to equal one check of 30 grand. Now it's gonna last for a long time, so it's like, there's always this trade-off, right, in real estate. How do we deal with that? So that's what I wanted to walk through, and then at the end, I'll give you guys what my answer is for it, right? So first, if you look at this real quick, we've got fast money and slow money, right? So down here at slow money, we've got buy and holds, and up here at fast money, we have like wholesale real estate, right? Where you're buying and you're selling really quickly. And then we've got down here small checks, right? So consistent small checks for buy and holds. That is normally like a few $100s a month or something like that for each property that you bring in. And then big money is more so like wholesale or fix and flipping, those types of things, land development, all that fun stuff. And so that's the first graph to take a look at. And then if we look over here, we've got our fun little quadrant. You've probably seen this before, which is great. So we've got needs money, right? And then doesn't need money. So to do a buy and hold, you need money, right? You have to set up your financing. I mean, you can use conventional financing and fun stuff like that, but you need a couple dollars in the bank to do something here. And then same with fix and flipping, right? You can use hard money, or you can use soft money, or you can get a private lender, and use gap funding, all that fun stuff. But really, it comes down to you probably need some dollars in the bank in order to do either of these. And there's also a lot more risk with both of these when money is required, right? So even if it's not your money, if it's your best friend's money, sure, you didn't need money, but you care a heck of a lot about that property going well, right? So these both need money. And then we've got cash flow up on top, right? And then big checks down below. So don't need money, creative financing. You can do creative financing deals where you don't need money. That's where the seller's gonna carry or seller finance you, or you're gonna do subject to or something like that. I really don't do very many of those. Occasionally here and there, but I'll show you why in a second. And then wholesale, right? Wholesale, you don't need money to wholesale. Wholesale is great, love it to death. And then cash flow, right? So here you're gonna get cash flow with both of these. You're also probably gonna make smaller amounts. This one in particular, buy and hold, you're gonna make the smallest. You're just gonna make a monthly nut each month. Whereas creative financing, sometimes you can set up some cool options and stuff like that, where you might make 5 grand or 10 grand up front, and then you're gonna make it on the back end in 5 years when you sell the property and they cash out with their balloon payment or something. So anyhow, both of those are cool. And then big checks here, cash flow here. So the question is, how do we get these two things? How do we get cash flow, right? And how do we get big checks at the same time not needing any money, right? Because there's no freaking, there's nothing that connects there. And so we're like, okay, how are we gonna pull this off? And the answer that we found is high volume. And I would say leveraged, but people might confuse that maybe a little bit. Leveraged as in not leveraged like financially, because wholesaling you don't need money for, right? But leveraged as in you're leveraging the right institutions, I would say institutions and people, in order to really take this to the next level. So high level, leveraged wholesaling. And so there's a whole strategy to how to do this, and it looks a lot different than a regular wholesale. Right, a regular wholesale, you spend a ton of money on marketing, you do a lot of negotiating, you contract a deal with the seller, you open escrow, you market to a buyer, your buyer's list, you find a buyer, and then they close the property, then you get paid. All right, well, there's a lot that goes into that. In the model, if you want to do this at high volume, that model, right, the first model I just described is hard to scale past maybe 10, 15 deals a month. In my real estate investment company, Keegley, we do 70, 80 deals a month consistently. And that's because we run a completely different model. So we had to completely shift our model. So I don't have time to go over the model, but this is what we found was the answer for big checks, cash flow, and you don't need money, or you can do all of it. I did create a case study, which is actually like much longer than this short video, right? And so you can check out the case study. It's either, there's a link probably somewhere around this video where you can go to check it out, but you can check out the case study, and that I walk through, that's like my business like, this is where we started, this is what we look like now, this is how we structured it, these are the things, like this is the old way that, you know, we originally started doing it, where we were putting out a lot of money in marketing, stuff like that, and then this is how we restructured, right, and the difference between the old way, the way we were doing it, and the new way, right, and the change there. So that's all in the case study. If you want to check that out, hopefully it's useful for you guys. A lot of people ask me that, so it's easier just to put it in a case study where I don't have to always reiterate it. But yeah, hopefully it's helpful for you. Let me know if you guys like it and if it's useful for you. Other than that, God bless you, love you to death. And yeah, the link should be somewhere to check it out. Thanks, guys.